Good evening and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone who's going to receive this link. I'm going live for it's live, but you guys are going to get the recap recording. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. I'm in my kitchen and I am washing dishes in the dishwasher, so it's a little loud, so hopefully, you can hear me okay. But I want to discuss this new rule, and I've talked to a couple of you separately, but I wanted to definitely just hop on and give clarity concerning this new rule and how it will impact our businesses. At the outset, you must know that my kids are on not fall break, Christmas break, winter break. So my daughter's been doing my makeup and they may run in here. So just letting y'all know in advance. Okay, so let's hop in. I'm gonna look down probably quite a lot because I'm looking at my notes. So at the outset, let's talk about what FinCen is. FINCEN. It's a faction of our government that is designed to enforce financial laws and curb financial crimes. So crimes like money laundering and other crimes like that involve money and hiding money. This organization is supposed to curtail that. And the actual title is Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. It's FinCen for short. So FinCen is not a new organization. It's just an organization that's kind of in the news right now because of this new law. So just know that. So FinCen has a new requirement for the reporting of beneficial ownership information. And just so you know, this is not a new requirement either. At least accounts. During that process, when you get a bank account with the business, when you get a business bank account, you have to disclose who your beneficial owner is for your business. Or if there's more than one, you have to disclose the beneficial owners for that business. Somebody a solo member LLC, then of course you own 100% of the business. If you are a multiple member LLC, then you guys may be 50-50. If it's more than two people, that's when it can kind of get tricky because it's like, okay, does one person own um, 75%, one person owns 10%, the other person owns 15%. Like how is that shaken out? Even with two, I guess one person could own 90 and another person can own 10. If one person owns 10, then they wouldn't be considered a beneficial owner. So this is not a new definition, it's not a new requirement to report who the beneficial owners are. I'm willing to bet that all of you guys, even if I wasn't around for the initiation of your business bank account, I'm sure you had to disclose who the beneficial owners were or are. So this is not a new requirement in terms of having to disclose who the owners are, but it's a new requirement. It's a new law making it a requirement that you also disclose this information directly to FinCEN. So before it was like, okay, you just disclose it to the bank, and that's it. But now FinCEN has its own network that is actually building. It's supposed to be ready in January. And the new law is that you have to actually go on their website and disclose yourself. So let's um, they I don't Barack Obama passed 2015, but at that time, the beneficial owner information only had to be turned over if the bank account had more than $3 million in it. Olivia, go in there and sit down. Like I said, go in there and sit. Okay, go in there and sit down, or y'all both gonna get in trouble. I'm glad I gave y'all that warning. So, when they come here, it makes me lose my train of thought. So, um, okay, so there was a few versions. Barack Obama had one. Guys, if I have to get up, it's going to be a lot of trouble for both of you. Go sit down. Both. So it's been a lot of versions. I'm trying to get through this, y'all. So it's been a lot of versions, but this final version was passed on November 30th, and then they added something else on December 6th. Long story short, this new version is not just for people who have bank accounts that are over $3 million. It's for everybody now. So that's the big deal. Why it's getting so much traction right now on social media is because this is not just for people who make over $3 million. It's or who have over $3 million in their account. It's for all of us now. And as you can imagine, Barack Obama made that rule in 2015, and then we have Donald Trump that comes and vetoes the law, and then in 2021, Congress actually overrode the veto, and that's how this law became finalized in this newest version with the more teeth. So as you can imagine, if we have different parties in office, then the rule may look different, but that's neither here nor there right now. As it stands, it's the law, and it goes into effect on January 1st of 2024. So less than a month from now, the law goes into effect. So what does that mean for you, right? That's what you want to know. So what you should know is that for entities formed before January 1st of 2024, you have a full year to comply. So you have until January 1st of 2025 to comply if your business was formed before January 1st, 2024. So all of you guys on here who I know of, if this link gets shared to other people, I can't, guarantee, but the people who I know who are members of my legal membership, you all have had businesses before January 1st, 2024. So you don't have to comply until January 1st of 2025. If you create a business as of January 1st, 2024, you have 90 days to comply. So if somebody forms a new business on January 1st, they have 90 days to comply with this new rule. Please close the door. Your TV's loud. So what does compliance look like? So as I stated a few minutes ago, FinCen is building a platform by which people will be able to go and log on and upload their beneficial owner information. The platform has not been built yet, but it's going to be called BOSS. BOSS is an acronym for something. I know the B is beneficial, the O is ownership, the last S is probably system. I don't know what the third S is, but it's going to be called BOSS, and it's not going to be open and available until January. So I can't give you a lot of details about it because it doesn't exist yet. But it will be free to file the beneficial owner information. So there's no fee associated with uploading your info and being in compliance. But on the flip side, if you are not in compliance, if you're late, every day that you're late, you can be fined $500 per day with a maximum amount of $10,000. And I want to say that there's some jail time that can be faced as well, maybe 2 days in jail, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely something you want to comply with as soon as you have to. Again, the people who I know I'm sending this link to, you guys have already had businesses before January 1st of 2024. So you don't have to comply until January 1st, 2025. And to be honest, that's probably when I'll probably do it just to be safe, right? I'll probably do it December 1st of 2024. And one created the insurance marketplace, right? And then remember they opened it and it was all those issues with the website. Nobody could go on and book and things like that. So what I know about new government systems is that they usually don't work right away. So I'm not going to be in a rush to go and register. And I'm going to say December 1st, 2024 is probably when I'll be trying to make sure, okay, do I need to be in compliance? Am I in compliance? Do I need to do this or not? But you guys, you can do it now. Well, you can't do it now because the system's not open, but you can do it in January, you can do it in February, you can do it all the way up until January 1st, 2025. That's the law as it currently stands. Um, so just keep that in mind. The penalties, as I mentioned, $500 per day if you're late. Don't be late. If the law is still good law, do not be late. $500 per day, up to a $10,000 fine, 2 days in jail. You don't want it, especially when something is free. So the next question becomes, why don't people want to do it? And as Americans, we value our autonomy. As business owners, we value being able to stay in the background to an extent. So if I wanted to go out here and do everything in Kiana Chenault's name, then I would do that. I wouldn't bother with having a business entity. So to an extent, it takes the owner from the back seat to being more in the front of the vehicle, although we just want our entity to be in the front. So that's why some people are against it. It's privacy concerns associated with this database. Who has access to the database? So actually, as a matter of fact, on December 21st, there was a new rule that outlays who will have access to the beneficial information. And we can kind of get into that, but I just want to go over a few of the things first. But that's why a lot of people don't like the rule. It's because there's this database that has my personal information on it. And we work so hard as business owners to keep our personal information personal and keep our business information in the forefront. For example, some of the requirements of the beneficial owner information, you have to give either your driver's license ID number, your passport number, personal information such as that, what percentage of the company you own. So naturally, people, including myself, I have issues with uploading anything about my ID into this random database, especially with so many hacks going on and cyber attacks. I definitely don't want my passport information anywhere. So I mean, I wouldn't use my passport anyway. But there's some concerns there. There's also some concerns. We work hard. Like I said, some of us don't want to be known. Some of us don't want people knowing that we own XYZ business. And so even if I'm using my license, just even being associated with my business, whoever has access to that database can see I'm associated with that business. I might not want that. There's some people who don't want that. So that's another reason why people have an issue. So there is something called a FinCen number. And so you and any other beneficial owners will be able to register for a FinCen number and use that number to show that you are affiliated with that business. So you could use that number instead of a social security number or a passport number or a driver's license number. So if if I need to register, I'm just speaking for myself. If the law stays good law and I need to register, that would probably be the route that I go. But of course, you have to make the best decision for yourself. So I'll say that, but that's probably what I would do. I will probably register for a FinCEN number if it's still necessary in 2025. What else? Exemption. So there are 27 exemptions to this law for the beneficial owner information. Number one, nonprofits. Nonprofits do not have to list their beneficial owners. One, because technically a nonprofit is not owned by anyone. It's managed by a board, but it's not technically owned by anyone. So nonprofits do not have to comply. Certain large businesses don't have to comply because there are already a lot of requirements for large businesses, and large is a definition of large businesses. One is that there are more than 20 employees. No one who I know who I'm sending this link to meets that definition. So I'm not going to go into detail on that. Also, accounting firms, securities companies, investing companies don't need to list the beneficial owners. Again, no one I'm sending this link to qualifies under those exemptions, so I'm not going to go into detail. There's one organization who I'm sending this to that's a nonprofit. So if you're a nonprofit, you qualify. But if you're not a nonprofit and I'm sending this link to you, you do not qualify for the exemption. So just be prepared to file to meet this requirement in 2024 if it's still going to be necessary. Let me see. I wanted to get into the final rule. Okay. Um, about who's going to have access to it. Okay. So this final rule balances the requirement of the disclosure of the BOI with the prevention of unauthorized use. So this is really long. I'm not even going to try and um, get into it. But what I'm going to say is they're going to do their best. FinCen is basically saying they're going to do their best to keep the information private. They realize that there's an interest in making sure financial crimes aren't being committed, but there's also an interest in keeping people's private information private. So they're going to do their best to do that, and they're going to do their best to limit who has access to this database. Now, again, we know with security breaches and things like that, I'm not gonna say anybody can have access, but things happen. So even though they're saying they're going to limit access, SHIT happens, for lack of better words. Okay, let me tell you the proposed regulations. Um, The final access and safeguard regulations aim to ensure that 1. Only authorized recipients have access to BOI. 2. Authorized recipients use that access only for purposes permitted by the Act. And 3. Authorized recipients only redisclose BOI in ways that balance protecting its security and confidentiality with the law's objective of making BOI available to a range of users for authorized purposes. The regulations also provide a robust framework to ensure that BOI reported to FinCen and received by authorized recipients is subject to strict cybersecurity controls, confidentiality protections and restrictions, and robust audit and oversight measures. So, in a nutshell, they're saying that they're going to do their best to keep our information private, but they just going to do their best, right? SHIT happens sometimes. So that's it in a nutshell. My recommendation to you all, if you had another business that you wanted to start, I would start it now before 2024. I'm not trying to be on a 90-day timeline. I'll do a 12-month timeline, but I'm not trying to do a 90-day timeline. And I know one business already that I'm going to start for our household before 2025, so we can not be worried about that for a year. So if you had any businesses that you've had in mind and it's been pressing you, then go ahead and my recommendation would be to go ahead and open it now. In my research, I also saw that some companies, I should also say that um, there's an exemption for subsidiaries. So if you have a business that's just a subsidiary of another business that's already reporting, then you may have an exemption there. So if you guys think you may have a subsidiary or that you may be a subsidiary, definitely let's set up some time to talk so we can talk about that. Um, so I will say that. I was gonna say something else. Goodness, what was I gonna say? Um, okay, I lost my train of thought that quickly. Oh, I was saying to create it, if you're going to create a new business, do it before 2025 would be my recommendation. I thought it was something else I was saying. I can't remember at this point. But if you have any more questions, definitely reach out to me and let me know. These links, with these recordings, are meant to be private. You guys are paying for this service and paying for this accessibility. So, I would say keep it private. I don't have any copyright restrictions on it in terms of any disclosures that I'm putting out right now. Um, I will do that in the future, but I just want you guys to just have the full benefit of being in the membership. So this is not information that I'm just sharing with everybody. I'm sharing it with you guys, and so just be mindful of that going forward. So that's all. You all have a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to reconnecting with everybody in the future. Have a wonderful new year, and I'll talk to you soon.